Let me ask you something. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. Just call it friendo.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Today we're talking about No Country for Old Men from 2007, the Coen brothers, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones. Awesome, awesome movie. I love this movie. I'm trying to think when the last time I saw it. It wasn't too long ago. And I rated it like a 4, and this time I rated it a 4.5. So it's improved with this viewing. What'd you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to also remember the last time I watched this.
I'm going to look it up.
I may have not seen this again since the first time I watched it.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of surprising because this is like such a fantastic movie. I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters. If I didn't, I watched it with you. I'm pretty certain of that. It's definitely a movie that like leaves an impression on you. But like for sure, it's been a very long time since the last time I watched it. Thinking back, I was like, yeah, like it's a good movie, and I remember being like wowed by it, especially Javier Bardem is just like incredible. But yeah, watching it this time, like critically, I was just like even more floored. So
Me too.
It's like I love when like we get to do those kind of movies where it's like, oh yeah, it's a good movie. Then you watch it with like the more critical eye, and it's like even better.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I watched it about 4 years ago. That's the last time I saw it.
okay.
So, and I jumped at the opportunity to buy it when it came out on Criterion 4K, and it did not disappoint. And there's also a little. Did you buy it too?
Yeah.
There's a little booklet in there. I don't know if you read through it at all, but there's some cool like articles of people's like reviews on it. But this is another top movie for a lot of people. This is number 147 out of IMDb's top 250. So we just keep checking away at that list.
Yeah.
This movie won 4 out of 8 Oscars. It won Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Best Directing, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It lost cinematography, which we mentioned in our last review with Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Roger Deakins, one of my favorite cinematographers, did both these movies and was nominated the same year, but lost to Robert Elswit, who did There Will Be Blood. It didn't win editing, it didn't win sound mixing, and did not win sound editing.
Sound mixing and editing in this movie is just so good. Like I
It
don't
is.
understand.
Yeah.
That's another one that's just like.
So, it's the Coen brothers, and they won Best Director and Best Best Director and Best Picture. They won the Oscars for that. Had they won for editing, they would have won that as well, which is crazy. And they won for screenplay. Like, if they would have had a crazy like sweep, so they edit most of their films, which I did not know. Did you know that?
No, I did not, but I did read that they typically edit under a pseudonym.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of people probably don't know that.
Yeah, so they are under the pseudonym Roderick Janes, and it's one person. Like it doesn't say two like Roderick Janes and Broderick Janes,
Yeah.
And so they co-edited the movie, co-directed, and co-wrote like all of their movies since Blood Simple in '84, which we did the review on that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have they wouldn't have been eligible for an Oscar or like because of guild rules had it been multiple people. So that's like they can't allow two credited co-editors on the same film. Um, Janes was so like Roderick Janes, their pseudonym, was also nominated for editing on Fargo,
Oh, okay.
but they've never won one, which would be pretty interesting. And so what happens if they win? The whoever is presenting it basically is like, oh, I'm accepting it on their behalf.
Interesting.
Like they don't go up to the podium or you know or the microphone and say, oh, thank you, we want to thank this people, you know, this person, this person. So I thought that was super interesting, because the editing in this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, with your critical eye, having seen this movie, obviously not for a bit, but was there anything that stood out to you on this viewing?
Yeah. So like there's a lot of really good like I don't know if it's like symbolism is not the right word, but there's a lot of like recurrences and like recurring themes. Like there's the scene where Shiger goes to Llewellyn's house, like trailer,
Yeah.
and like steals the milk and like sits down in front of the TV and like stares at it while it's off, and like takes a drink. And then Tommy Lee Jones does the same exact thing, almost exactly the same shot and everything, which is really cool and kind of like shows how Jones's sheriff is kind of like continuing to like fall into this like, you know, nonsense that he like doesn't really understand and doesn't like, and like, you know, he wants to go back to the old days of, you know, like straightforward cops and robbers, you know, kind of policing. But then the one that like really got me this time is the cattle prod on locks, and how like they show it like several times, you know, him using the, or not a cattle prod, but the cattle
Like bolt pistol.
pistol or whatever, yeah. And you know, he uses them to like blow the like deadbolts out of doors. And then when Tommy Lee Jones goes back to the crime scene, you see the lock missing, and it's like,
Yes.
that's the key, you know, that he's been there, you know.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's also a good like it's symbolic of like good versus evil,
Yeah.
and like Tommy Lee Jones being good, and like, you know, Harvey R. Bardem's character is the definition of pure evil in this movie.
Yeah, he's like
He's-
100% like irredeemable evil. Yeah.
He is a straight up savage in this movie. He's like a serial killer, and he's just psychotic from the get go, and they do such a good job of showing his like just how crazy he is in every scene.
Yeah, his like weird, twisted like worldview is like so well, like, and like there's no monologues, you know, like where he's like, oh, like I'm like, you know, like
Yeah.
like, explains, you know, everything, but it's just like his like few interactions with other humans like really shows how like twisted and like corrupt he is, you know, like his, how corrupt his soul is, I guess. But like, yeah, he has these like weird rules that he follows that like don't make any sense, and following through on them don't make any sense. And like, you know, his like overarching philosophy is basically that like if someone crosses paths with him, then like they deserve to die.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he gives a couple people the coin flip chance, you know, to survive basically. You know, which is like so odd. And like I was reading, you know, a little bit about like particularly like the themes and like the philosophy in the movie, and like you know, like he kind of uses the coin flip as his like way to like circumvent like taking ownership over the fact that like he wants to kill these people. You know, so like he leaves it up to like, you know, chance whether or not he's gonna kill this guy, you know, like, you know, which is like so twisted and
That's psychotic.
sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, him choking out the police officer in the beginning just shows he is not someone to be messed with. That's like the opening scene.
Yeah.
And the shot of the floor all streaked up from the guy's shoes, the cop's shoes from him struggling while getting choked out is insane. Then he kills the random driver. Hold still a moment. Bolts him through the head. Just crazy.
Well, like the scene where he's choking the cop too is really interesting because he doesn't look at him at all through the whole like strangulation, and like it's not because he doesn't want to, it's because he just doesn't care enough to. You know, like that's how like kind of bad he is.
Well,
and, like,
I also
it's just a means to an end for him. So he's just like trying to get through it. Like, come on, like, you know, I've got other places to be. And
what's funny is I read and like I didn't really notice this until I like thought about it. He is like afraid of blood.
kind of, yeah, he avoids it in a lot of instances.
It's very interesting. Like him pulling the shower curtain closed and shooting the guy, him taking off. That's why he takes off his socks in the hotel room. I never realized that. And like, I think he's like avoiding the blood when he's choking the guy because the dude starts like spraying blood out of his neck.
Yeah.
So he's kind of trying to avoid it.
Well, it's also an easy way to get identified as a serial killer if you're covered in blood. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it is like interesting symbolism too, that like he has that weird aversion, whether it is like a tactical thing or not, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, agreed. So I think you've told me this before, but I saw this on the trivia as well. So in 2018, an article came out from the Business Insider. A group of psychiatrists studied 400 movies and identified 126 psychopathic characters. They chose Javier Bardem's performance in this movie as the most clinically accurate portrayal of a psychopath.
Yeah. Wild.
I mean, that'd be a pretty cool job to just sit and watch 400 movies and say, "Oh, which guy's the most accurate psychopath?" Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem, crazy. So he won the Oscar for his performance. His performance is incredible in this movie. He beat out Casey Affleck from Assassination, the movie we just watched last week. And he was the first Spanish actor to win an Oscar. I did not know that.
It's like really surprising.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to have been nominees, I'm sure. But like,
Well, he was the first nominated actor.
no way. That's
Back in
so
2000, not for this performance, but in 2000
Oh, okay.
for Before Night Falls. But very interesting that he was the first nominated and first to win, but obviously for a subsequent film.
weird. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, very.
So I feel like there's got to be, like, Benicio del Toro doesn't count.
I don't know if he's Spanish.
Oh, Spanish.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought I had read that it was like Hispanic, but Spanish makes more sense.
Yes. Antonio Banderas, Penelope
Yeah, 'cause
Cruz
there's like a bunch of like.
from Spain.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
Latin American.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. That's like, I read that too, and it's just like, that cannot be true.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton that have been nominated for an Oscar, Latin Americans as well. It looks like, Anthony Quinn won Best Supporting Actor for Viva Zapata in '52 and in '56 for Lust for Life. Demian Bichir was nominated in 2011. Fernando Torres was nominated for I'm Still Here. Jose Ferrara was the first to win a Best Actor for Cyrano de Bergerac in 1950. Benicio del Toro won Best Supporting Actor in 2001 and was nominated for 2 movies. Wagner Moura just was nominated for The Secret Agent. So it's very interesting. There's not a lot. But Javier Bardem is killer in this, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the most impressive thing is how he like Shigur is like just off enough that he's like really unsettling like through the whole movie, even when he's having like fairly commonplace interactions with people. He's just like a little bit off. And like, I mean, obviously as the audience, we know that he's like murdered, you know, like a dozen people up to you know, a certain point in the movie, but like, you know, it's interesting too to see the other characters, like the minor characters' reactions to him being like, you know, like off put as well. Like the guy in the store when he's like, what's the most you've ever lost on a coin flip? And the guy's like, what? You know? Like,
That whole scene is amazing, by the way.
yeah.
The dialogue in that is amazing. And he's literally just going to kill the guy because he fell into, like, he basically was given this, like,
Yeah, he's just like
gas
utterly
station convenience
disgusted
store.
that the guy married into. You married into it? Like, well, yeah, I guess you could say that. He's like, I am saying it.
Yeah, that whole scene is unsettling. And it's like, you know, he just wants to kill the guy. It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, his rationales for like why people need to go are just like so bizarre. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, early on, he, you know, gets brought out to, you know, the cartel massacre by two guys that are like, I'm assuming employing him, and he just blows them away like it's nothing. And
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. His motivations are like really strange in the movie. Like, because seemingly he's after the money, but like Woody Harrelson, what's his name, Carson?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carson says like, yeah, he doesn't give a shit about the money. Like, this is just about like finishing the job, basically, to him. Like, it's just like such a weird motivation. Like, we get that too at the end when he goes and finds Llewellyn's wife and basically is like, oh, I promised him I was going to kill you. And she's like, he's dead. He's like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like,
But I gave my word.
yeah, I gave my word. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's crazy, dude. I've got a lot of cool trivia on this movie, but I want to talk about his weapons of choice.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty interesting weapons. I want to talk about his bolt pistol, the like cattle prod, like you said, kind of. It's commonly used to stun cows before slaughter without risk of like shooting bullets or like having bullets fly. Because even Tommy Lee Jones' character Ed Tom mentions that a guy, you know, was going to try and shoot like a cow and it missed and bounced and hit him in the shoulder. Still can't pick up his arm. So Sugar, which I think is funny, Sugar, choosing this weapon has both practical and symbolic reasons. Using a tool specifically designed to slaughter livestock symbolizes Sugar's view of his victims as animals rather than human beings, while emphasizing the impersonal and cold nature of his killings, showing it is not about a personal vendetta, but a mechanical, inevitable action. Like, they're just, you know, lambs to the slaughter, cows to the slaughter. It also has a practical effect of being an extremely quiet weapon and quiet, effective tool for bypassing locks, which you were mentioning. It may be a much more bulky gun to carry around with the much shorter range. However, firearms equipped with a suppressor are not nearly as quiet as movies depict them. But his shotgun that's suppressed is so cool in this movie and makes such a very cool sound, which you say, like, why didn't this movie win sound mixing or sound editing? It's very well done. And I looked up who it lost to. It lost to The Bourne Ultimatum, which that movie is incredible in terms of its mixing. It's like, if you look at that year that all the movies came out, obviously including The Assassination again, which we just watched. That movie, there that year had some awesome movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like, again, I always kind of complain that movies are Oscar bait, but like that year had some incredible movies that were not Oscar bait. Like it had 3:10 to Yuma, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie.
It had There Will Be Blood, which I guess you could argue, but it's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford was a bit of an Oscar baity movie.
Yeah.
A little bit. I would not consider this movie Oscar bait, even though it's spectacular.
Yeah.
Typically, this type of movie is not what they like to put up for Best Picture and stuff. You know?
Yeah, agreed. I was like, how could a movie this brutal win Best Picture? Like, it's very interesting. Yeah, you got like Michael Clayton was nominated that year. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
That's Clooney, right?
It's Clooney, yeah, and it's Tony Gilroy. That movie is so good. It's so damn good. Talk about amazing writing. That movie has incredible writing and acting. Atonement. That movie's pretty sad. Sweeney Todd came out that year, but it's like I think about it like. I mean, now with, the Oscars having 10 nominations for Best Picture, it's like, how many movies are really, like, worthy? I don't know. Again, that's a bigger argument and a loaded question, but, like...
Well, I mean, a couple of those spots are, like, reserved for, like, blockbusters, just so people get off the back of the Academy, but, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, and so... Yeah, I watched this with my fiance and Llewellyn, who's played by Josh Brolin, who does a great job. He, comes across the money and then decides to go back. And I'm like, why would he go back? And, my fiance is from Texas and she goes, that's just Southern mentality. That's just Texas mentality. Like you're going to help someone out when they're in need. That's just the mentality of the South. And I was like, interesting. That's a very interesting way to look at it. What do you think? Like, why did he do that? Why did he go back? Because that literally sets everything in motion.
Yeah. So, like, I think, like, he's just a good person, and, like, even though he, like, takes advantage of the situation and steals the money, like, he's still, like, a good-hearted person,
Yeah.
Which is, like, the hallmark of a lot of the Coen brothers movies. Like, the central character is like a well-meaning or generally good person that falls into some sort of trouble and gets in over their head, It's like this definitely plays into that like larger kind of trope that they like to use.
And they also love having that like devil, like Satan theme throughout a lot of their movies, and Javier Bardem's character is 100% like the devil in this. Again, I think even the coin flip is like I could take your life at any time. Like I'm literally, the devil. I could take your life whenever I deem it so.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. But yeah, Josh Brolin I think is great. He was a couple funny stories about him. He was working on Grindhouse with Robert Rodriguez, and they kind of made a combo movie, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. And Josh Brolin asked Robert Rodriguez if he could borrow a video camera to make his audition tape. And eventually it was directed by Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino directed his audition tape, which is really funny. And the Coen brothers saw his audition tape, and their main thing that they said was, wow, the lighting is amazing in this, which is really funny. And clearly, so he got the part, and just before filming was beginning, he was riding his motorcycle and got into an accident. He broke his shoulder, and he was in an interview, and literally while he's rolling over the hood of the car that he got hit by, he was thinking, fucking shit, I really wanted to work with the Coen brothers. Thinking that he would not be able to, having this injury. But most of the movie, he's in a sling because he gets shot in the shoulder anyway. So it was not an issue. So I thought that was pretty interesting and funny.
Yeah, that is funny. This is, I mean, this isn't like, by far, this isn't his first role in movies, but I feel like this was what really elevated him.
100%.
Like, made him like a much more well-known actor.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, have you seen The Goonies?
Yeah.
He's in The Goonies. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
probably one of his first-ish roles. But yeah, I'd say this made him a household name for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in a lot of like random stuff with like smaller roles throughout the years, but yeah, I think this is probably what opened him up to all the stuff he's recently done.
Oh yeah, he's huge now. He's in like fucking everything.
Yeah,
I mean, he
he's
was-
got like TV shows now and stuff too. Like,
Yeah, he was Thanos.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
he's
Cable.
just in Deadpool, and he's in Dune.
Yep.
I mean, he's in everything. Sicario.
Oh yeah, he's awesome in Sicario too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just looking 2007 he had 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's small segments. 4, 5. He had 5 movies out in 2007. Like name brand movies. He had Grindhouse, Planet Terror, No Country for Old Men, In the Valley of Ella, an American Gangster.
Oh, I didn't know he's an American Gangster. That's cool.
Yeah, he's the main cop.
I haven't
like-
seen that in a long time.
That's insane. That's literally what made him blow up, for sure. That whole year. Crazy. Yeah, he was in a handful of movies in 2010, 2013. Like, he has
What, Men in
multiple
Black
movies.
3?
Yeah,
He
in
plays young
2012.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, which is funny because obviously they're in this movie together.
Yeah.
I think he's great. I think he's a great actor. Yeah, I've always liked him. So I found out something interesting. I don't know if you came across this in your research. So in the novel, so this movie is based on a novel by Cormac McCarthy. Have you read the book?
No, I have it, but I haven't read it.
Gotcha. So in the novel, Sheriff Bell, Tom Bell, who's Tommy Lee Jones in this movie, says of the dope dealers, here a while back in San Antonio, they shot and killed a federal judge. Cormac McCarthy set the story in 1980. On May 29, 1979, Judge John Howland Wood, a federal judge in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas, was shot and killed in San Antonio by a Texas freelance contract killer, Charles Harrelson. Does that name ring a bell?
No, but
Father of Woody Harrelson.
oh no shit.
Judge Wood was the first federal judge to be assassinated in the 20th century.
I
Charles
forgot that
Harrelson.
His dad is a hitman.
His dad was a hitman. I had no clue. And there was
I had
like,
heard that before, but it was one of those things where it was like I don't know how like real it was, you know, but like wow, that's wild.
yeah, I had no clue. And there was also like some conjecture that he was involved in the Kennedy assassination.
I've heard that, which
but-
that's what kind of made me think that's not really.
It's because he was super high on drugs and like was freaking out and about to be arrested and was like going to try and commit suicide, I read, and like just kind of listed off a bunch of things and like admitted that he killed the judge, I think, and it said something about him killing JFK, but that was not true.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that his father was a killer in real life, and it's just interesting that, Woody Harrelson in movies is, he's basically like a fixer in this movie. What do you think of his character? I think his character's kind of pointless.
So I think more than anything, I think he's a plot device to tie or to give a reason for Llewellyn to like come back to the U.S. after going to Mexico. Because that's the only reason that Llewellyn crosses back over the border is to meet with him and like get out of the situation, basically.
Yeah.
And he gets, confronted by Sugar again.
And is shot in the chair and that whole scene where he's shot is crazy.
That scene is just absolutely mind blowing too. Like the tension built up in that scene is unbelievable. Like the phone ringing for like what feels like 10 minutes. Then, like he just randomly pulls the trigger and like it's like such a good like it's almost like a jump scare because you're just like sitting there waiting like what the fuck is gonna happen.
Yeah. And there's another instance of him avoiding blood. You see when the blood's coming towards him and he like moves his feet out of the way. Yeah. That he's just like methodical. He's very methodical and like very methodical and maniacal.
Yeah. Oh, so one thing we were talking about his weapons of choice.
Yeah.
And that scene sparked another point that I had that I noticed. Like, he uses the cattle, execution device or whatever, and then the silent shotgun. He doesn't hide either of them ever. Like he walks around with the cattle thing out in the open all the time, and there's multiple times where he's just walking around with the shotgun like in public, and like so like it just shows even more how like out of his mind he is, and like probably believes that like he's untouchable.
Oh, 100%.
I think also that's kind of conveyed in the end, a little bit that like he survives that car accident and like gets away, presumably, and like he is kind of, untouchable, and like, that's part of the, I guess, pessimistic, outlook of the movie.
Yeah, that's definitely a theme, I'd say. I think another theme is like, there's two themes that kind of tie together. It's like, you shouldn't be doing something and you're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think there's a sequence where Llewellyn is hitchhiking and gets picked up by a guy and he's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And like Llewellyn's kind of taken back, like, how does he know about the money? He's like, doing what? Hitchhiking. Dangerous. And it's just like the paranoia starts of like this cat and mouse chase game. But it's like he knows it's wrong what he's doing, and he's a good guy, but he's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And then the theme that ties into that is people will do anything for money. And that's shown through Llewellyn's character. It's also shown through the guys on the bridge when he's like pretty wounded, and he asks for the guy's jacket and gives him like $100, and then the guy's like doesn't want to give him his beer unless he's paid too. It's like anyone will do anything for money. It's a very common theme in this movie for sure.
Yeah,
so,
and the kid at the end that gives him
his shirt,
Sugar his shirt.
Yeah.
Well,
that
says,
kid,
I don't want your money.
Yeah.
Which is like the innocence of childhood. The only character that like turns down money in the movie. Oddly enough.
Yeah, that could be it. That's symbolic for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of like the whole Llewellyn's death? What do you think of that?
Yeah, so like, I think that's where the the other overarching theme of the movie, and like we kind of talked about it already, is like the inevitability of like death, or like the inevitability of like the unrelenting force that is Sugar, like encountering these people.
But he doesn't even get killed by Sugar.
No, but like, they're on this path, and like he's being pushed. Everyone is being pushed by him in some way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly. So, yeah, I think, it's unfortunate, that Llewellyn gets killed, but I think fits the overall tone and themes of the movie.
Do you? I don't know if I love that it's like off camera, but I think that's when our transition changes from the main characters, and it changes to Ed Tom's perspective of then him witnessing this and getting thrown into the violent mix of it all and being like, all right, this is what is actually happening. He's kind of that unrelenting or like he's the hero that doesn't really want to be in the situation, but he knows he's good at it.
Right. Yeah. He's the he's the reluctant hero.
Reluctant
Like, at
hero,
this
yes,
point,
that's
that, like,
what I was looking for.
Throughout the movie, he and other people around him, talk about how like they can't understand like the state of crime, and like, it used to be, this way, but now people just commit these crimes and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And like, it's like really disheartening, like weighing on him. And like, ultimately leads to his like voluntary retirement. And like, I think in the opening monologue, he's talking about how like, he's like the third generation of like sheriffs in like this part of Texas. And like how like him and his dad were just like so proud, and stuff. And then by the end of the movie, he's like, I can't do this shit anymore,
Yeah.
It's but I mean, that's where it's, I think the moment that we understand his worldview is when he goes back to the crime scene and sees that the door has been, unlocked by Shiger, and he's like, kind of like, he doesn't say anything, but he kind of like deep sighs, and it's like kind of like, well, fuck me, I gotta go in there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, he draws his gun, like goes up to the door, and like, that's where you get like another awesome scene where like they're looking at each other through the like reflection in the like cylinder of the missing lock, which is also like great shots. And ultimately, Shiger is either hiding somewhere in the room or
He was in the room next to it, apparently, from what I read.
oh, okay. But yeah, but like that's the kind of guy that Ed is. Like, he's gonna do the job,
Yeah.
even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, 100%. Now, what do you think about Carla Jean? Do you think she's dead, or do you think she's alive? Did he spare her life, or is she another one of his quarter victims?
So, another small detail that matters a lot is when he walks out of her house, he looks at his boots to check if there's blood on them, presumably. So I think she's toast.
Me too. Yeah, and again, that's another instance of him not wanting blood on his persons.
Yes. But also, it's such good callbacks to all the other times that he's been very meticulous about getting blood on himself or being near or avoiding blood, like you mentioned. And like, that's, I think, another, like, it's such good writing because like, it's not just another obvious instance, it's like a great callback, but you have to be paying attention.
Yes, 100% agreed. Yeah.
It's very rewarding if you've given your time and attention to the movie,
Definitely. Now,
the outcome of it isn't great.
I know.
She's fucking toast, but it's
Yeah.
it's really like that. I don't know. I think that's the hallmark of like, particularly like the Coen brothers are really good at that. I think like rewarding you for like really paying attention. A lot of the time in their movies, with subtle detail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All
so-
about the subtleties.
Yeah. But yeah, they're like, this movie is just like masterful at that.
Agreed. Now, do you think the ending is masterful?
Which part? Shiger walking away or Tommy Lee Jones's monologue?
Tommy Lee
'Cause
Jones's
they're
monologue.
both awesome.
It kind of just ends though.
Yeah.
And like my fiance was even like, "Wait, what? That's the ending?"
Yeah, I mean, like,
And that kind of like that dulls down the review a little bit, like the rating. Even one of my buddies I was talking about, he's like, "That ending is bad."
really? No. I know, I think it's great. Like, he's talking about how he's had this dream where his dad is like, or him and his dad are riding through like a mountain pass in like the winter, and his dad goes ahead to like set up camp, and he says like something along the lines of like, I know that I'll like meet him there, and then that's like when it cuts out. It's like he's kind of talking about how, like, again, like the inevitability of death, like one way or another,
Yeah.
like it's gonna happen. Like that's the central theme of the whole movie, basically. Like, I don't know, I think it's kind of a masterful way to like wrap the story up, and it starts with a monologue from Ed and it ends with a monologue from Ed.
Yeah, good bookends. And it that is apparently like the ending in the book, at least from what I read. So I've got two things. So they said it was indicative of the retired sheriff recognizing his similarities to his late father and Ellis, both of whom retired from law enforcement under more fraught circumstances. So in the final scene, Bell describes having two dreams about his late father, both of which symbolize his struggle to reconcile with the changing, increasingly violent world and his feelings of inadequacy as a lawman, like you mentioned. They represent his guilt over failing to stop the bloodshed, a yearning for simpler, more moral times of the past, and then final acceptance of his own mortality and retirement. Bell's first dream was about his father giving him money, which he loses. This symbolizes his guilt over failing to save Moss, his sadness that many people think money is worth killing over and risking death to obtain. Again, we talked about the theme of like people doing anything for money. And his feeling that he's outgunned by modern senseless violence. The tools that Shiger has. So it's tying into that. In the second dream, Bell and his father are on horseback in a cold, dark mountain pass. His father rides ahead to build a fire, representing a return to a more simpler time. This signifies his quiet hope and longing for comfort of his father's generation, and an acknowledgement that simpler, more moral times, or the fire, is often carried by the older generation of men. The final line of the film is, "And then I woke up," symbolizing that the warmth and safety he seeks are just memories of dreams, and he must exist in this cold reality of the present, where lawmen, even with guns, are more impotent in the changing face of evil in the nation. This is no country for them. No country for old men. And accepting his aging, inevitable death, and realizing that this world is no longer a place for the old ways or old West. And that's why this movie is a Western.
Yeah. No, this movie is
More
for
modern.
sure a Western.
Modern Western. And what's cool is even my fiance was like, "Well, that was like a modern Western, wasn't it?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't talked about any of like the Western elements of this yet, but like
let's get into it. I'm ready.
obviously the setting, it's
Yeah.
mostly in the Texas desert area. But yeah, I mean, like you have the lawman, like in people getting into situations, like reluctantly,
Yeah,
kind
the
of
reluctant
being
hero.
brought into situations that they, don't want to deal with. Like that's basically the whole Man with No Name trilogy is basically him getting dragged into situations that he doesn't want to be in and dealing with them. You have, Josh Brolin, who's kind of the like embodiment of the like old like Western heroes, like he's kind of the like pure guy, even though he's, doing something not like stealing cartel blood money isn't like, that bad because everybody was dead there, but like he has to deal with the ramifications of an action that isn't necessarily like a perfect action, morally. Then like Shigur is the, like wandering stranger, that kind of like goes from town to town, and he's the outlaw, he's the like the evil, menace,
The man in
plaguing
black.
everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I think like this movie uses the like Western tropes extremely well, I think, and like obviously tweaked like quite a bit to fit like modern context, and also like tweaked to be more of like an homage and not like a direct callback to like Western archetypes, which is why I think this movie is like so masterful. Like they just do such a good job of like making very unique and like I don't know, like intellectual and like interesting movies. Like even though this is adapted from a novel, like I feel like their screenplays and their movies are all just like very. They pick good source material.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times if they're adapting from something, it's not like your typical movie of the same type of genre. Like a neo-noir crime thriller is like typically not like this,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they pulled like verbatim lines of dialogue from the book because it was so good and so well written.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it took me like 3 years to read, but I just finished Blood Meridian, which is another Cormac McCarthy book. And it actually ends in like a very similar way. That,
interesting.
Like, very pessimistic, I'll say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, don't spoil it.
yeah. I was going to, but I won't. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to read it, but
Okay, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know the ending of Blood Meridian, it's been out since like the 80s, so just read it if you really want to. But so really, really fast recap. It's about a kid who like leaves his like shitty family and goes out west, joins a band of scalpers, and like they're all kind of like really bad people. Like they're killing like random people and taking their scalps and pretending they're Indian scalps and like selling them for bounty rewards and stuff. Anyway, like they like massacre people like all across like the western United States, like moving towards San Diego. And there's one guy in particular that's called the Judge, and he's like very much like Shiger, where he's like a highly intelligent but also like very evil, like and like maniacal kind of person. And like there's a big like calamity that happens near the end of the book, and like everybody kind of like scatters, and the kid and a former priest kind of like make their way through the desert trying to get to San Diego, which is like the closest like city to where they are. And the Judge comes after them and like finds them, and they basically leave him to die because they don't want anything to do with him. So then he like starts this like quest for vengeance, like tracking them across the desert, and like they encounter him like 2 or 3 times, and they're like kind of playing this like cat and mouse game with him. The kid eventually gets away, starts a new life basically, and like then it cuts to like 4 years later. He's like somewhere else, like back east, in this town, he's been like, I think, doing some kind of like more noble line of work than, scalping people for bounties. But he runs into the judge randomly in a bar, and the judge kind of like intimidates him, and he's kind of like, dude, like, I don't want anything to do with you, like, just leave me be. Goes outside to take a piss, and the judge like kills him in the outhouse, and the book ends. So like it's pretty grim.
Damn.
But yeah, like my wife, has been like on me to like finish the book because it's just taking me forever. So like I finished it, and I was like, like thinking about it, and she's like, "Oh, you like finally finished it?" Like, well, how did it end? Like I explained it to her, and she was like, "That's the end? Oh my god!" Like I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "I don't know. It's kind of awesome, but like, yeah, it's very bleak."
It shows. I just looked it up. They're gonna make a movie on it. I think I even sent something to you about that.
That movie's been in development hell for
Yeah.
like 25 years, but supposedly Russell Crowe really wants to play the judge, so we'll see, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, it says John Hillcoat's attached. He did The Road. He did another Cormac McCarthy movie or book. So what do you think? Which was the best Western of the month that we watched?
I was
There's
afraid
also-
you were going to ask that question.
They're all so good.
I think I got to stick with The Good, the Bad, and the
I
Ugly.
knew it.
It's just like one of my favorite movies of all time.
So what's funny is you say that, and like it's not on our list, but A Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah.
Or no,
For a few dollars more.
For a few dollars more, the second one. It was. I just was like, I loved that movie. It was so good.
I need to give that one another rewatch because I've only watched the other two once.
Okay.
So I need to rewatch both of those.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, granted, we didn't watch that movie, but I'd probably say that since I haven't seen it, I'm going to go with Treasure of Sierra Madre just because it was so great and so rich in themes and so well done for a movie in the 1940s. And it's made me Gaslight, when we did Gaslight the month prior, that movie has made me want to watch more old movies, and I've loved watching old movies lately. We've got Sci-Fi Month coming up starting next week, which is
Dystopian sci-fi.
Excuse me, dystopian sci-fi. And we're starting with 12 Monkeys. And we watched that, Jake, right?
We watched it together. That's the only time I've seen it too, so I'm excited to rewatch
Ooh,
it.
I haven't seen it in a
probably
while.
Like sophomore year of high school or something, maybe.
Really?
So it's been a really long time.
Yeah, I love that movie. Another Brad Pitt movie. And then we've got Blade Runner 2049, which I am so stoked for. Another Roger Deakins shot movie and one of my favorite directors of all time. We've got Escape from New York, which I have not seen in a long time. We've got Brazil, which I've never seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last two, so I'm excited to watch those.
Yeah, so we've got great. I love sci-fi. It's my favorite genre of film, and I am super stoked. So hopefully you guys enjoyed Western Cinema Month, and we are coming back next month with sci-fi movies. So buckle up. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep, see ya.